Hey everyone, so today I want to talk about Chemo-Brain. I actually didn't realize that Chemo-Brain was a symptom of chemotherapy. Like, I obviously understood that chemotherapy has lots of symptoms associated with it, but the ones that are kind of most famous obviously are things like hair loss and fatigue, and they're the ones that you hear people talk about and the ones that kind of get reported on a lot in the media and stuff. So Chemo-Brain was kind of a shock when I heard about it, and I was like, oh okay, you know, forgetting things sometimes, you know, that would be annoying, but it probably isn't that bad because when we think about things, airplane. That's the second video I've tried to make and an airplane comes right at that moment when I'm trying to talk, of course. So as I was saying, I didn't really think that much of Chemo-Brain as a symptom because I think when you're thinking about terrible things like cancer and chemotherapy symptoms, you're thinking about pain and managing pain, and anything that isn't pain related, you're like, awesome. But no, Chemo-Brain absolutely sucks, and I really started noticing, maybe about week 2, I noticed it really quickly because I am generally really sharp. And I think it probably bothers everyone, I'm sure. But as I've mentioned in other videos, I'm someone who just loves to think, and I love to mull over really complex things, and I love to talk about things in a complex way, and so it really, really sucks. And an incident in particular, after my 3rd treatment, after a few days of being, you know, horribly fatigued and stuff, and just being so bored at being home and being stuck at home and just being bed bound, I was like, no, I'm gonna go see my friends. So I decided to go see my 2 of my friends, and I went over to one of their houses and we were just chilling and chatting, and we did a bit of painting and stuff, but we were talking about lots of things like we normally do with my friends. So we were talking about different types of social justice issues, or talking about science things or psychology things, and we're also trying to give one of our friends advice about something that was happening in her life. And there were just so many moments that I would start talking and I knew what I wanted to say, and then as I wanted to say it, I couldn't say it. It was like my mind just went totally blank and I just could not form the words. And there were times in the night where I wanted to say something and I was about to say it, and I kind of like said something, so obviously everyone, well, my friends looked at me, and then I started to speak, and then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, like I just totally lost what I was gonna say. I don't know what to say anymore. And I hate that so much. And then sometimes I'd be saying something and I'd be trying to communicate something, but it just wouldn't be coming across as coherent, or maybe it was just coherent because I was really concentrating really hard, but I wasn't confident that it was, like I normally am. I'm normally like, yes, you know, I'm trying to communicate this thing and I am doing it and I'm happy with how I said it. But that was not happening at all. And when I would say things that were more complex, or trying to give, you know, some sound advice or something, I would just become really doubtful that, like, I wouldn't know if I'd actually said something that made sense, and I wasn't even happy with it if it did make sense because I wasn't sure if it made sense to me. And I just kind of became a lot more quiet as the evening progressed and kind of just listened more, and I did chime in and whatever, like it wasn't too out of the ordinary, but I just hated that feeling of crappiness, and like, I hated not having that confidence that I normally do when I talk. And the other day I was playing a board game with friends, with my friend and my partner, and then all of a sudden we're playing Settlers of Catan, and my number didn't come up, but all of a sudden my numbers did come up, so I could finally get some resources. And so obviously I was happy that I finally got some resources, but instead I just said, I'm me. I just said that randomly. Just said, I'm me. And then my friend just laughed, and she was like, oh, you know, you realize that you just said, I'm me? And I'm like, oh, did I? Oh, sorry, like my brain just doesn't process things properly. Obviously I wanted to say something, but I said something else completely different. And obviously everyone, you know, messes up words sometimes, and they, you know, swap words around, but I'm doing that more and more. Like, I'm gonna be thinking about, you know, I don't know, cooking like rice or something, and then maybe I'm talking about something else, and I'll be talking, I can't even communicate now. But I think you probably understand what I'm trying to say. And I hate that I just can't say things as well as I normally do, and I just have these embarrassing moments. And like, my friends don't make me feel bad. Like, if they're laughing, it's more just like a cute little laugh, like brushing it off kind of laugh, which I really appreciate, but it's just really getting to me in particular. And yeah, like, last night I sat down and I started to write because we've been reading a lot, because I feel like I can at least comprehend things when they're given to me quite well. I just sometimes I can't like produce content, I guess. So I've been reading a lot, and reading gets me really inspired for writing again. I'm like, yeah, I want to write, and I want to get back to the story that I've been writing for a while, and like new adult-ish dystopian book. And I've, you know, finished it. I just have to edit the last few chapters again because I gave it to a friend of mine to edit and I've gotten them back. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit down tonight, and I'm gonna go through and edit it, and hopefully I can, you know, have this finished again and I can get more people to read it, and then hopefully I can try to get it published or something. But when I sat down and I started trying to read what I had written, like, it just took me so long to work on such a small part of my story, and I did, and I think I did okay. But like even halfway through the editing, I was like, is there any point? Like, is there any point editing it at this time? Should I just wait until like just before chemo day again, so that way my brain has like recovered nearly, you know, 2 weeks after drugs? Or should I wait until this whole treatment thing is over and then my brain and my creative brain and my brain that puts words together creatively and intelligently is back? Because at the moment it's not here and I just don't trust myself. But at the same time, I want to do things that I love, and I love writing, so I think I'm going to probably keep trying to do it and just keep highlighting parts that I just can't deal with. Like, I feel like when I'm writing, I can deal with trying to fix things, make them flow a little bit better as I read them, because I can tell that they're not 100%. But in terms of like, oh, I want to add like a really great description of this dead body or something, but when I'm like, okay, so what I'm going to write, nothing comes. I'm just like, a dead body is on the ground. That's like all I can think about writing. I can't think of any of these cool metaphors or anything creative or an awesome simile or I don't know, something else that would just be really cool. No, I just think of the most boring way, and even sometimes the most simple, like the simple sentence, I'll read a few times to make sure that it actually makes sense, because I'm worried that I've written it wrong or that I've added a word wrong or something like that. And I know a good trick for these kind of things, and in general for writing and editing, is to read things out loud, because then you can hear it better and then you pick up problems, which I'll probably do. I'll probably try to use those kind of little tricks and techniques. But it's just, yeah, it just really hurts me emotionally not being able to do things like writing that I love, and also being able to communicate properly, and having these awkward, embarrassing moments that, yeah, they don't bother, like they bother me, but it's more, yeah, I don't know. They bother me that they have to happen, but it bothers me more that I just can't communicate the way that I want, and I feel like I can't be 100% me. And I guess that's what sucks for so much of chemotherapy and cancer and stuff, is that with these kind of drugs and things like that, you can't be 100% you. And I think that's where a lot of the emotional agony comes from, not being able to be you or reach your potential, and knowing that there's something that's doing it, like something external, something that you could technically stop taking. You could stop going to chemotherapy and my brain will come back, but I'm not going to do that because I need to do it to live longer. Maybe the bright side is that there'll probably be some funny moments that I'll remember, funny things that I'll say, or funny things maybe that I can remember and be like, ha ha ha, that was a funny chemo-brain moment. Maybe not remember the sad ones, but maybe there'll be some funny ones that maybe I can try to remember and tell you guys to lighten the mood. And yeah, we have to look at the positives, I guess. So please leave any thoughts down below in the comments if you'd like, especially if you have any kind of chemo-brain stories or other stuff that bother you, or maybe some funny chemo-brain stories. That's also good if you want to be on the positive. Okay, hope everyone's doing well. Bye.